Now, welcome to Kenya, where the president takes up the official government seal from the office of the Attorney General, and it is given to the President Chief of Staff. As we know, according to the Constitution, this is the seal that puts a signature on every order that the president gives, or even on any bill that is supposed to be passed to law. Now, the Attorney General is the one supposed to do that work. But now, the president has taken up the mantle. Why am I referencing these certain seal? As we speak currently, we are on the process of reconstituting the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, the IEBC. And Kenyans have had to disagree with the recent nomination that were made by the president. This nomination came out of the blues because these are names that most of us never even considered them for being even agents in the IEBC. But they turned out to be that the IEBC chairperson is also somebody that we didn't know about, Erastus Sedang Edokon. The others are the six IEBC commissioners. Now, Rigathi Gachagua recently made some certain claims while speaking at an interview with Oga Obina. He referenced the elections of the year 2007 and more so the post-election violence, the PEV. He said that if President William Ruto, with his current newly constituted IEBC, goes ahead to rig the elections of the year 2027, then the year 2007 will become a Christmas Eve party or a joke because of what will happen in 2027. Now, everything about that statement has been taken out of context as they try to label Rigathi Gachagua as a monstrous beast that is preparing the ground for violence in the elections of the year 2027. But that is not true. He only referenced and made an example. If you rig the election, because in 2007 the elections were rigged. That is why we had that happening. Now, as we speak, the High Court of Kenya also has decided that the judiciary is going to be independent and it's not going to sing these praises. Because if the judiciary, the executive, and parliament, all of them, these legal three houses that represent the Republic of Kenya, if their independence is jeopardized, then the person who suffers most is Kenya, and more so the democracy of this republic. Are we together? And that is why the High Court of Kenya moving swiftly to tackle the current developing issue of the reconstitution of our EBC is something we all have to come together and say that the High Court has served Kenya's justice. The High Court, as of yesterday, issued conservatory orders blocking the National Assembly from vetting and approving President William Ruto's nominees to the to the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission (IEBC). Justice Lawrence Mugambi barred Parliament from proceeding with the vetting of the seven nominees, including chairperson nominee Erastus Sedang Edekon, until May 29, 2025, when he is expected to deliver a substantive ruling on the matter. And I read, Court does issue conservatory orders staying and or suspending the consideration and vetting of Erastus Zedang Edokon, and Jerry Deritu, Moses Alutala Mukwana, Mary Karen Sorobit, Hassan Nur Hassan, Francis Odhiambo Adual, Fahma Harafat Abdallah for the positions of the chairperson and commissioners of the IEBC, the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission by the National Assembly. Justice Mugambi ruled. Now, the orders followed a petition filed by two voters, Kelvin Omodi and Boniface Mwangi, who asked the court to halt the vetting of the 7 IEBC nominees, citing the procedural irregularities and violation of the constitution and legal requirements by the selection panel. Now, through lawyers Paul Muite and Ochong Odinga, the petitioners argued that the selection process lacked transparency, public participation, and violated several provisions of the Constitution. I quote, "The nomination process was marred by irregularities, lacked transparency, and violated key constitutional provisions, including those guaranteeing merit-based appointments, regional and ethnic balance, and inclusion of persons with disabilities," said lawyers Muite and Odinga. Now, Muite specifically questioned the inclusion of Hassan Noor in the final list of nominees, stating that his name had not been part of the initial shortlist or the list of applicants advised to the public. Advertised to the public. He says, "We are raising the issue of the fifth commissioner, Hassan Noor, who was not shortlisted in the initial process. He was not in the advertising list made by the selection panel." Remember, they said Noor Hassan is the brother-in-law to Junaid Mohammed. Muite argued the court to issue interim orders, arguing that allowing Parliament to proceed with the vetting would render the petition moot. "We seek interim orders to stop the vetting, which is scheduled to kick off on May 26, as announced by the National Assembly, pending the main hearing of the case," he said. "At this point in time, in the history of our country, Kenya, there has to be full confidence in the process of getting new commissioners of the electoral body. My lord, no one wants a repeat of what we went through in the year 2007 and 2008 general election. We don't wish the justice system here again to undermine our people," Muite told the court. Lawyer Ochieng Odinga supported Muite's submission and rejected arguments by Attorney General Dorcas Oduor that the court lacks jurisdiction to halt the vetting process. "The court has to stop the illegality," Odinga said, arguing Justice Mugambi to intervene before further constitutional violations take place. But the Attorney General has opposed the issuance of interim orders. Represented by Chief State Counsel Emmanuel Bita, the AG told the court that the petition is premature and does not meet the constitutional threshold for intervention. I quote her, "The petition is non-justiciable on account of having been instituted contrary to the principle of ripeness." Now, he further argued that the petitioners failed to exhaust alternative remedies, such as raising their concerns before the vetting process began. The petitioner has not exhausted the first instance constitutionally provided remedy before invoking the jurisdiction of the Honorable Court, thereby contravening the doctrine of exhaustion, the AG's submission read. The AG, in a submission, warned that halting the legislative process would amount to judicial overreach and violate the doctrine of separation of powers. Now, let me tell you, if there is a person that this country can never trust and shouldn't trust right now, is the Attorney General. The Attorney General goes to court to represent the government so that the vetting process of the said IEBC commissioners would commence, yet this is the said lady who has added over the official government seal to the President Chief of Staff. Yani, Felix Koskei, I tell you, the man has, you always speak about Farouk Kibet. You don't know about Felix Koskei. I tell you, that man is a co-president. Mulikuwa mnaongelea Kibet. Kibet is only an assistant to the president, a PA. But Felix Koskei is the chief of staff. I tell you, this man decides who is going to be given what deal, who is going, and he signs the deals. He has the authorities of the president to put the stamp. He is the Attorney General now. He is the legal advisor to the president. He is the chief of staff to the president. Bwana, he decides who wins and who loses in this government. Now imagine he has been added over the official government seal. When I say the official government seal, this is the seal at the office of the Attorney General as required by the Constitution to sign on every order, on the bills that the president has to sign to law. Huyu ndiye anapaswa kuwekelea muhuri, huyu ndiye anapaswa kusema it's done and dusted, now inaweza pitishwa ikuwe sheria katika taifa la Kenya. And here now the man has always had a contravening opinion, and that is why the Attorney General is just a flower girl there. I mean, when Justin Muturi was the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, the man played very crucial role in refusing, by the way, to sign on the deployment of the Kenya Defence Forces in the streets of Nairobi during the 2024 demonstration. And that is where his fallout with the president came in. Now listen, the Attorney General anadefend that tukuwe na IEBC ambayo ina serve the interest of the president and not the interest of the people. And we really applaud the two gentlemen who took it upon themselves to file the petition at the High Court to block the the vetting of the said IEBC commissioners. Because let me tell you, if these IEBC commissioners are going to be so neat, have you looked at Ethocon story and relationship with President William Ruto and the President Deputy Chief of Staff? The former governor of Turkana, Josephat Nanok. Have you looked at the current lady meant to become the commissioner of IEBC, also the current the head of the office of the registrar of political parties, and Jerinde Rito? Those are people that sings, and I mean they are. Unaonanga venye Gachagua anaitanga Kidhora Kindiki Mr. Yes Sir. Now those are yes sir minions that have been input there by the president. And I tell you, if the court and the judicial system does not act on its mandates, we are going to have a very tough time in the year 2027. Regarding Gashagua's words won't only be words. Ladies and gentlemen, what is your take in regards to this matter of the reconstitution of the IEBC and the vetting? Alafu remember, the MPs to the president walisema kama muna oppose hawa watu, kujeni tupatane wapi? Kule parliament. Kwa sababu wanajua kule parliament they have bought everybody, and so they will succeed in vetting and passing the said IEBC commissioners. It's the same thing they did to us during the opposition of the 2024 finance bill. Achia maoni kwenye comment section. Subscribe.